Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I trust everybody's doing well. So today is our monthly support call, which we have once a month, first Saturday of each month, for that ServiceNow community as well as Pan African community. The whole essence is to hear from our practitioners, have them come in and answer questions and share their career journeys with us. We do have Mavis already on the call. Thank you, Obi, thank you, Diola, for showing up on time. Paul, unfortunately, is not here today due to family emergency or family issues. That's kind of like why. But if he's able to, he'll join us um, later on in an upcoming session. So feel free, as always. This is a lively session. There is the chat feature for you to go ahead and ask your questions. You can also go ahead, raise your hand for the hand gesture, so that way we can get your question, if it's kind of like so that the practitioner that is actually providing us feedback can answer those as well. So, but feel free to put that questions in the chat so that will be captured, and then we would share their contacts at the end, once we send the recording link as well as the password. So each one within our community can go ahead and download it and then learn and then connect with our practitioners as well. So we'd like to start with our question set or question template. So the first is for us to get to meet Mavis. So a bit about yourself is our first question on the list. So Mavis, the floor is yours. So let's get a bit about you. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I'm not feeling to have a bad voice, so just let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, so my name is Mavis Omologe. I've been in the ServiceNow ecosystem space since 2020. Yeah. I also was part of this class that was in, I think, 2022, 2021, 2022. Currently, right now, I'm a ServiceNow developer, but I work as a ServiceNow reporting specialist in my current firm, although I've worked as a ServiceNow developer in other firms, but right now I'm a ServiceNow reporting specialist. And I'm also ITIL certified, Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt certified as well. And I also have a background in GIS, information science, and also a background in business administration. Currently, my day-to-day, I help like stakeholders with their requests. I understanding their vision and mission, and also I perform initial assessment where I ask like the questions regarding the requirements that has been given to me. So like who needs it, where they need this business problem, what opportunity they're trying to embrace, if they have an existing enhancement or if it's a new process, ask questions regarding areas of workflows, tables, and also priority questions with SLAs. And I also I work closely with dev and we create like stories as well. Pretty much I help with documentation as well too. So whatever project I'm working on, it's just me. I have a way of like I just create a documentation where I put it in our within our group to help like a new employee in the future. And it also helps me to yeah, that's it for me.
Good deal. That's a bit of everything. So that's the beauty about it. Jack of all trade, being an analyst. Like I always would say, everyone is an analyst first and foremost. We just have some technical folk and then some process or functional folk. But analysis is really all it is. You're going to be taxed with doing a lot of stuff. But great deal. So there's no new question in the chat. But the second question we have is, what do you do outside of work, right? Because you have everything all going, but what do you do to rest and recharge?
So what I do outside work, it's church. I'm a Christian. I help with to set up the table for communion for the next Sunday, and I do the first letter sins. I also like to spend time with family. I have my family here with me in Canada. Sorry, I forgot to say I'm based in Ontario, in Toronto, Canada. So I have my family here, my siblings and my parents are here. So sometimes I go over to spend time with them. Sometimes I connect with, friends who are ahead of me, like have more knowledge in service now to know what's new and how I can, pursue that career. Like right now I'm currently looking into ITOM because I know it's like it's a great deal in the market. So I'm currently doing that course. So I spend most of my time, if I'm not in church, with family or probably prepping for the next week. I'm either trying to look for something that would grow my career online. Like I mean, now learning, to read more materials pretty much. So that's what I do with my spare time.
A good deal. Good deal. I'm loving it so far. Faith, family, and friends and community. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no how that you can't go wrong there.
sure.
The way life is, uh, uh, you get or derive meaning from trying to
Yes, because it's not just
spend
all
it.
about work, work.
Right.
There's life
Trying to spend
outside of work. So
it. Good deal.
if I'm not doing one of those things, and I travel too. I come to the States a lot. I love to travel, but
Good deal.
if it's now and COVID has not made me travel for some time.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm loving it. Good deal. So, with no question yet in the chat. So, but the next question we have is, how do you stay up to date with technology trends?
So
Technology trends, yes.
I connect first with people in the ecosystem in service now.
I hear
Secondly, to
that.
know like what's happening within their organizations, and also now learning and the service now community. If the community is really a strong place where there are lots of questions and answers, that you can build your community there as well too. So that's what I do.
Awesome, awesome, Mavis. And that's the truth. There's a lot of resources that are out there to help you. There is that colleagues which are much senior. But ServiceNow has a ton of resources. Like you talked about, Now Learning is there. There's the ServiceNow community. There's different user groups. There's a host of resources out there. There's academy sessions. There is a next experience. There is now create to help you with implementations. They have them all listed, right? They have the product document, right? The API libraries, samples, code snippets in there, tons. The only
Mm.
thing is being able to get to leverage on it when you need it. And trust me, the more knowledgeable or the more research you have, you're able to actually make changes on the fly. So you can make changes as you become much more aware or get new knowledge. You can apply same. But great response, maybe it's liking it so far. Diola did ask a question. I said, uh, when you say reporting analyst, are you talking about the performance analytics model alone, or are you talking about reporting and dashboards? That's over to
Performance
you.
analytics, performance analysis and dashboards as well. I create like do dashboards, KPIs monthly. Just depends on what for the firm I work with. Well, you're big in Canada, they all over Canada, so we have like different departments. So it depends on what each department are looking for.
Good deal. Good deal. I mean, depending on the customer's use case or
Request,
requirement.
yes,
Right,
their
right,
requirements.
right. Depends on your requirement, but for reporting and um, performance analytics is pretty much, much more granular reporting.
Yes.
The whole essence is what your customer is, subscribe to. So if they have reports, that's all you do. If they have performance analytics, also subscribe to. So if they have that license, because it's all costs. So
Yeah.
definitely you would have to leverage on that based on your experience or expertise, if you will, and then you see which one which made more sense. Definitely performance analytics, because you want to do the
Yeah.
trending of your reporting and
Yes.
go really deep dive
Mm,
into it.
and
Yeah,
all.
but great summation. I'm loving it. Um, uh, so the next question is really is kind of like twofold. Training versus certification. What is your take? Training versus
Okay.
certification.
So what I've noticed for me personally, right?
Okay,
Certifications are good. Some companies want to see that you are certified. But the truth is that there are people who I know that are not even certified, right? For example, like this item, I'm not certified, but I know that when I get the key points and everything they need, I can scale through an interview. They may not even need that certification. So it's good for you to take trainings like this classes when the maker is training you earn, and if you can speak to what you've done, right? That's all they want to know. Anybody can get certified and they can't do the job. Certifications, yes, can get you an interview, put you out the door, but it wouldn't get you the job. So
great summary.
it's
Mhm.
like it's 50-50 for me. I rather know what I'm doing, my trainings, and get certified later on.
Awesome,
Most interviews that I've been going for, they rarely ask me about my certifications. They just want to know what I can bring to the table, how I can help the team, how I can improve their process, how I can improve, what they're looking for.
awesome stuff. So
So
that's
I started my service now with training without being certified. It was later on I got certified. I started with training first. So when I was reading for my certification, I already knew, okay, yes, I got this from my training. I saw this in my training. And I was lucky to get a job that they're already using service now. So that actually helped me as well too.
the truth, and that's the truth. So it's it's a bit of the both. So it's a
I
50
yeah, I
50
know of a lot of
synergy,
people has
right?
so many certifications. They don't have jobs. They're looking for a job.
They don't have a
No,
clue
yeah,
of what
yeah.
the
It's not about the
certification can
certification.
do.
It's what. How can you convince your client? Sometimes they'll throw you on the spot and like give you a PDI to try and create something in an interview. I've had one like that.
Right,
So it's not about your certification. It's what you know. Can you
right.
do the job?
Very good. Perfect.
So I will go for training first before my certification because that's how I started.
Right, right. So, but that's the truth. So the thing is this: there's no right or wrong answer. That's the whole idea here. There's no right or wrong answer. Each one has its preference.
Yeah,
Certifications is a foot on the door, right? So because it's it's marketing. You're selling yourself. Because if you take a look at the trend, most of the jobs they need the certification to show that okay, they can trust you, right? But you need to speak to the certifications, and the only way to do that is your training, because that's your delivery, but what you can do to sustain you in the job, to even get you that job, because you need to be able to not just talk intelligently, but do it, right?
yeah,
There's a difference between going and just talking and doing, but there's a difference between when you know it. Like you can come, somebody can take days. But if you can come in and then you can cut it time because you know the thing, you can deliver there. But that's the truth. There's a synergy. It's a 50-50 space. You need to actually try to, you know the material, know the tool, go to that
yeah.
training, and then you
If
can.
it's even something you'd like to move forward with so you don't waste
Mhm,
your time
mhm.
and everyone's time, because there are some
Right,
people that they've done the certification and at the end of the day they're not even interested in service now. So
right.
for me, I will go for training all over again first before doing my certification. That's what I did.
Awesome stuff. But what I always even tell people is this: that even while you're trying to get certified, try and use it as a reinforced learning. You need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
You have to know it. That way it helps you. You're not just like most people try to do. They're like, this certification is a burden. Let me just do it and get it. No, that's not really why you're there. You're there to master the content because you're going to leverage it in the work. Except you're just doing it without that passion or conviction. And then
Yeah.
that's where there's an issue there. Because all you're doing is like you're just wanting to pass the exam and go. But if you're going to leverage on these things, because they're all concepts, if you can get the concept, the underlying concept, every other thing is like a building block. Every other thing is like a building block. That's the whole essence of this whole IT speak or IT thing. But great response, maybe so I like it. Um, so the next question too is kind of like a pivot from that one. It talks about generalizing versus specializing. Um, which would you rather do? So generalizing, so becoming a generalist, or do you want to be a specialist in a thing or two? So what do
Um,
you think?
so I would like to be a specialist. So I know that I'm focused on this goal. Like, for example, I like ITSM a lot. And although I know wearing different hats also helps because I've done it in the past, I actually still currently do that, you know. But I would like to be a generalist to just focus like this is my if I'm going for GRC, if I'm going for item, if I'm going for ITSM, if I want to just be a dev, this is the pathway.
Nice,
But it's
nice.
good. It's good to be a generalist because, like I said, item is really really hot in the market right now. That doesn't mean that ITSM is not still hot. It's still there. We'll have lots of people on the ITSM, so it's good for you to at least expand your knowledge to know different fields. So anywhere you can find a job, you just get a hold of it. Like, yeah, this is where I'm specializing, but I could do this as well.
Perfect. And the truth is this. Um, uh, Generalizing specialist, right? So you're having a mix of the both. It
Yeah,
also depends on your company, right? If you're working for consulting, definitely you would be a
you'll be
generalist
general. Yes.
because consulting is always about deployments. So you're looking at about 3 months or 6 months worth of work. You come in, you deliver, and you're going to be delivering on different project sets. So it could be ITSM for one time, so ITSM suite. It could be HR, it could be HR suite. So it could be GRC, it could be ITOM, it could be different application suite. So you would have no need to be fully ingrained or specializing in one area. You would have a bit of all of that, right? So that way you have that you know rounded knowledge on it. And then it's important because that way you will not stay on the bench for long. Like if you're working for consulting, if your project is up, if your skill set is just tailored to specialist in one area, if that is not the one that they have a pursuit for, or that there's a opportunity for them to hire you, they're looking for resource, you're going to be on the bench until you get one that is tailored towards your skill set. So, and then most of these consulting firms too, depending on your bill rates, depending on how it is, they are not going to keep you on the bench for more than 90 days. So imagine if it takes that long for you to to get on a new project, then you'll be let go from these companies. That's just it. That's just how that one works, right? But if you're working for some customer companies, so the customers, hey, when they hire you, they can hire you and say you're my uh, AI guru, or you're my ITSM guru, so they can hire you that, like you're focused there. So being a specialist in that regard, yes, that can work because you're already an employee. It's not like you're going anytime soon. So except you decide that you're having to be I want to transition. I think I have learned some new skills or upskilled myself here, or reskilling. Then I want to go ahead and see how I can apply that in my new pursuit or a new opportunity or engagement. Then that way that works in that regard. But the generalizing specialist flow is that you are knowledgeable, right, or special multiple areas. So you might pick, pick and choose where your passion lies. So, like for me, um, I look at the engagement layer. So something like ITSM, which is the most matured of ServiceNow's delivery space, and then customer service and HR, because those are the experience layers. Once you get that done, then like in my case, predictive intelligence, AI, machine learning, things like that. That's where I, kind of go, yes, I do have application for, application portfolio or strategic portfolio, agile development, things like that. Well, ATF testing, a host of stuff, right? But the essence is being, knowledgeable in that core three areas first, because baseline ITSM, once you know that, HR, customer service, hey, you're in big business. You always be sort of, you always have a job. That's a given. All right. So Adela was asking, the demonstration, are you using your instance or their instance during your interview?
Oh, they give you their instance. The one I did, it
Exactly.
was their instance. They gave me the password and all that. And I was on the video call. And they asked to how I can assign users groups, and deactivate users and groups as well. And also to show them how they can create like a custom dashboard for they already had something there for like a service request, the total number, which is like the count, and also the service request by group or by priority. I should, yeah, they asked me that.
Right. It depends on the company. That's
Exactly.
but really they would give you their own instance.
Yeah, it
But
was their
ideally,
instance I
I,
used.
I ideally, right? In some cases too, they could say you spin up your. They want to know whether you even know
Yeah.
what you're saying. They could say, okay, you
Mm.
should have a PDI or opened your PDI.
Yes.
So they want to know whether what you're saying or not. But if not, sometimes they would pull up their own instance, and also they want to see that you're comfortable with the tool. So that way you
Yeah.
should be able to log in, right? So you should log in knowing your username and password should be already, they have provisioned that account in there. So that access, so your username and password combination already provided, you should be able to log in, right?
Yeah,
Log
they
in,
also,
being used to the that user interface, start the navigation, get to the thing, create those users, do what you need to do. If you don't know it, you can't do it, right?
yeah, they also asked me to create like a report, you
Mhm.
know, create a report and schedule the report to run on a weekly basis, the first day of the
Mhm.
week for closed
Exactly.
incident, and also report for incident that has been open for the past 7 days, and it should run every Monday. So I had to do that.
Right.
And
If,
then
if you don't know it, you can't do it.
yeah,
If you
also
don't know it,
I
you
should
can't.
send an Excel sheet. How do I get an Excel sheet of that report? So I did that as well.
Mhm. If you don't know it, you can't do it. That's the thing. But this is very good. Yeah, this and the way the market is, especially now, there's a lot of technical interviews like that. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So that's even why the combination that you need to do those trainings so that you really see it and then you do it, you're following along. It's not just theory. No, you need to have those homeworks. You need to be able to do these things on your own. That's reinforcement for learning. Yes, teach me, show me, let me try. You need to reinforce that learning by doing it. You
Yeah,
need
I know that one question that I've always gotten all the time with regards to ITSM, they want to know like the steps that are included in like when I'm trying to gather my to work on a complex
okay,
project. So I
okay.
started by telling them that first I gather requirements gathering, like close working. I work with stakeholders, from various departments to understand their unique business requirements and plan points related to IT service management. And I went further to say, I go to the solution design, leveraging my expert with service now platform, like the capabilities and best practice to design comprehensive solution tailored to address the organization needs. And then I went further to tell them about the
Mhm,
project plan and execution. There
mhm,
you develop the detailed project plan, timeline, resources,
mhm,
pretty much. And then I went for that to tell them that the next stage is the configuration and customization. So I oversaw the configuration and customization of ServiceNow ITSM modules, including incident management, problem management, change management, service catalog, and then I work closely with technical teams, pretty much, and then I will jump into the testing and quality assurance by doing the implementation, testing methodologies, and then I went for that to tell them about the training. We did training and change management to develop the training materials and conducting training sessions for end users to ensure a smooth transition in the new service and ITSM platform, and then post implementation.
Exactly.
Pretty much. So
Right, that's the workflow. That's a a delivery or development cycle. So you hear SDLC, that's really what it is. Talking from when it's a thought,
yes.
whether you're using IT framework, it's a thought, it's a strategy, right? Then you talk of the different programs in there,
And
right? Then
sometimes
you
most
talk
of
about
it,
how to use it. Yeah,
sorry to cut you short. Most of these people that some of them are actually that even interviewed, they're not even service expertise, so they're depending on you.
correct.
They depend on you to help them understand what they're trying to achieve.
Right.
So you also need to understand your customer. Some customers like emails, some customers like phone calls. They just want to talk to you to understand. Some customers they want chats. You need to understand your customers, what do they like.
Communication preferences. That's really what it
Yes.
is. Is the stakeholder communication management. Yeah. You need to know how all of that ties together because you will need to communicate based on that preference. Some like every day, some like the weekly,
Yeah.
some like to even bargain on your stand-ups and try to try to kind of like they can't wait, like a kid in a candy store. They want to get that technology being used almost immediately. Great stuff. I'm loving it so far. I think the other was saying, okay, and you also that's nice, and you have to keep up with upgrades, things moving around a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
because especially with the transition from the UI 16 to the next experience UI. So if you say you're knowledgeable in these newer releases, you should be able to know how to navigate it because it's totally different. So that's way it kind of like helps you because once you have a PDI and then your PDI is San Diego and newer, so San Diego, Tokyo, right, Utah, Vancouver, right, and then Washington now, you should have that new user interface, the next experience interface. It should be there by default, ready to go so that you can, have the that's hands-on to navigate and get to the applications, whether it's a global set or whether you're pinning your menu item depending on which menu you work with, whether if you want to the favorite one and stuff, whichever, right? So that you get to your work or tasks on time. um yeah, I think we are coming to the end. So I don't see any other new questions in the chat. But your your word of advice that you have. um
Again, I mean,
oh, okay, Shay, you have a question. Yeah, good morning, how's everything going?
uh, yeah, fine. Good morning. I just want to chip in something.
Go ahead.
Uh, when you're trying to be a generalist when it comes to service now, you should always try to have maybe like a project conversation that you can talk about, not just telling them about that or model they're trying to hack. Because something happened to me yesterday.
Okay.
There was this interview I had, and they were kind of looking for ITBM
Okay.
person, but I'm not really good with ITBM. I just know the overview of ITBM.
Right.
And
Okay.
when we started this interview, they started with ITBM. I was just giving them just a plain stuff from the overview of the ITBM side.
Okay.
And later on, they were started asking some question of ITSM, and the way I was answering with kind of life scenarios and
Okay.
everything, the interviewer had to tell me that, you know what, I have another position that's
For
open
you.
for ITSM,
Okay.
and I think I'm going to want you on that.
Okay.
That it's so that I'm more knowledgeable when it comes to the ITSM
Yeah.
than ITBM. And it's because I haven't done any project on ITBM, so I don't really have something that you can leverage on.
Okay.
So when you're trying to be a generalist, always have something you can leverage on.
That's true.
I think I
Yeah.
heard the other lady that was talking the other time about a project, like you're giving them the synopsis of SDL, which is the software development life cycle. But when I answer those kind of questions, I always try to pinpoint to a life project, and
Oh
I
yeah.
give them that life cycle based on that
Yeah.
life project.
Oh yeah. I talk
So
about my
that's
life
gonna.
project. I do that
Oh,
a lot. I
okay.
always do that. Yeah. I talk about my life project, like what I'm currently working on, and what I've worked on in the past, because they actually that questions on my resume, right? They ask those questions too. But he was just asking me. The interviewer was asking me what steps would I take. So I was just listing the steps for him.
The requirements. Okay. So, but
Yeah.
here's the beauty part, right? That's perfectly good. It's based on your scenarios, and it's good because things that you've worked on with those projects, they reinforce, right? Or they buttress your point to take it home because you have given the reasons, or they're looking at your thought process, how you come through, or here is why, right? Your why, the why is there. But here's the thing. That's why I always focus on it, right? ITBM means Information Technology Business Management. And what are the applications that make that suite, right? Agile development, right? Huge, everybody, right? They're using Jira, but now they're doing it in ServiceNow. So if you're able to talk about demands, talk about enhancements, talk about defects, talk about testing, right? Because you need to talk about the suites individually. There are so many suites you can't even they themselves can't keep up. If they want you to really talk, people who can 1 hour is not even enough. 30 minutes not even enough. So if you can detail it out, they will, they will be jaw dropped, right? They will be wowed because that's the experience there. I mean, how many companies are even using agile within ServiceNow? Matured companies, not all. So that you're able to talk about that, the stories, right? The enhancements, how they come in, how they tie to epics, how do they tie to teams? You're able to talk through that whole cycle, right? The whole life cycle. Talk about agile testing, right? Manual testing is what most people do, right? How to write out the test steps, test plan, how to simulate acceptance criteria. That's really what it is. But if you can talk about ATF, how you can get that in there, right? How that can be used, making sure that if they have the right subscription or payments, they are able to trigger those automated test generations, right? Based on their customizations. But if not, they are quick start tests or sample tests based on you know um, defaults or baseline configurations that are there. If they've made modifications there, then you would have to set up your own test templates. So go ahead, write out your own test templates. There's a sample form template which you can run through for any particular table. Remember, a table is a collection of records, right? That's really what it is. So most of everything within that system is all tables. It's all there within tables are applications, right? That's really what they are. Many applications, HR table. That's really what it is. So you can continue to go on and on. They know that you know your stuff. Confidence. You can talk. Even they themselves, they will tell you to shut up because you will let them know. You school them, but you need to know the application. That's why yes, the overview is good, but you need to know the application so that you can pick them and talk. It's like ITSM, sure, incident, problem, change, knowledge. Release is there, right? Knowledge is there, right? CMDB is there, but it's ITSM. It's a host of stuff. It's all moving parts. You can talk about them. You can talk about them. That's the key because they say ITSM. And sometimes if you just look what did they mean, right? But you can talk about them, like break it down. Bit like that. Break it down bit by bit like that. Should be able to. ITBM that's a business managed. How is business being managed? Right? Agile is there. ATF is there. Um, the demands are there, you're able to talk about them. Nobody expects you to, have you done projects in all of them? No, no. It's even subscriptions. Many of them, there's default ones before you talk of enterprise and professional versions. But there's default applications that make that up, even in ITSM. So even the companies themselves, when they make those payments, or when they have those their license subscription, they're not using half of all the license. They are not. They are not. So it's when they come in, maybe a particular area, then they now want to turn that one on. Even with ITSM, they are not used. They are just using half of their license. That's just what it is in this space. That's just what it is. But great question. I'm loving it. Great contributions, Shay, and Ken, and everyone. Loving it so far. But words of advice before we close out. Words of advice before we close out. So, for members that are breaking into IT, how do they grow within that space? Although most of the questions that we've had has kind of like been tailored them towards kind of like what to do. But well, yeah, how what's your advice that you have so that we can
So
close it out? Thank you.
continuous learning, take advantage of any training resources provided to you in this group or by ServiceNow, such as online courses, any documentations, webinars, community forums, stay updated with new release updates, pretty much, and also hands-on experience. So practice using ServiceNow in the real world scenario with your PDIs, with the assignments that Nemeka gives to you. They're really important because you can talk about, even though you're doing them on your PDI, those are projects you can talk about during your interviews. Experience with different modules, configurations, customizations, to gain more practical experience and deepen your understanding of the platform. And networking and collaboration, connect with other ServiceNow professionals, both within your organization, if you're working with ServiceNow, through online communities, collaborate with them, share knowledge, learn from them, and also develop your problem solving skills, analysis skills and troubleshooting issues, design solutions within ServiceNow. And then also, if you're working in ServiceNow field, keep your end users in mind. So customer focus, be customer focus as well. Keep them in mind, understand their needs, their pain points and preferences to deliver your user-friendly, efficient experiences. And also documentation. You're working, maintain through documentation for your customization, configuration, and workflows within ServiceNow. So to sum everything up, just prioritize continuous learning, practical experience, collaboration, problem solving, customer focus, and documentation to enhance your effectiveness and success as a ServiceNow professional.
Awesome stuff. Great stuff. And that's the truth. ServiceNow, IT general, continuous learning. I mean, GenAI is here. It's not going. Applications are always going to be based on different use cases that come in. Yeah, you need to learn. You need to network, knowledge sharing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, like nobody knows it all. Even those that seek to know it, they are trying it because they wanted to fail, right?
I
Because
still
they
ask
already
questions.
right.
If I get the requirements I get and I get to a stage, it throws me off. I ask questions. I
Right.
call Nimrika. I call the other people that I know. Like, hey, how do I solve this? I've tried.
Right.
And they explain, and pretty much if it's not clear to them, I can go back to my boss or my team leader, whoever gave me the requirement, say, hey, this is not clear. Can you explain more?
So I mean, and document. So that way you can reference it. That's the reference library. So like yes, in IT we always try to do minimal documentation because we say only when we need it. But yeah, I mean keep track. I know my wife always She always has like a note, like a checklist or to-do list kind of thing. You think your brain, you have it. You don't, because you would miss some of them, even the best of these things. So long as it's not written out, it's a wish. That's all it is. If it's written out, then you can itemize and tackle it. Yes. So that documentation is really important. It kind of like helps you so that way you're also kind of like eyes on the prize, right? Looking at that, then okay, I have to achieve this, that by that. You kind of like have that in the back of your mind. Yes. But yeah, it's a lot of things. But remember, you have your career in the driver's seat. So you need to remember that you're the one that will push the most. You also remember that ServiceNow are like others of other technology providers provides you with a sandbox. The healthy community is there. Your PDIs are there for you to break and fix. Try it. They have learning plans. Take a look at the learning plans. Try to do that. Now learning is there. ServiceNow prior used to have 2 releases, but now they are using unlike before where you had every 6 months to keep up with deltas. Now it's a yearly thing, but those deltas will come in to check your knowledge, especially with product enhancements or upgrades or things that have been evolving within that their different platform offerings. So you would have a lot of things to keep up with, but understand that once you're in it, that's your staying power to continue to keep up. That's your staying power. And then once you're in there, sometimes you will not be versed with the whole platform, but you know, also within whatever space you're in, maybe it's ITSM, you keep up with whatever changes that are there because they will affect you, one time or the other. Because as they get to new releases, some other ones, like the previous releases, if you're not in them, support for them will, elapse. So that's why they say N+1 or N-1. But even up to N, +2, at that point it would be just support basically, but you should be able to make sure that you're keeping up as well. So some companies are like in my last engagement, we used to have skip one release. So if we don't do Washington, we'll do Xanadu. So we just got into Vancouver, things like that. So we'll stick with Vancouver, and then while people are enjoying Washington, and Xanadu comes in, we're going to definitely, jump to Xanadu like that, things like that. So we always miss one, because all of these cost resources to upgrade, right? So you look at the features, some of them that you already have, you want to see changes on them. So you want to learn about those changes, because they're going to affect you. So that when you're ready to upgrade, you sit to it. So take those PDIs for a spin. If you lose sight of things that you need to do there, go to the learning plans, go there or go to Now Learning, finish some tasks there, try it in your PDI. Your PDI is one that you can release it, you can, request a new one, you can break it, you can do a lot of things there, right? You are enabling applications there, enable demo data there so that you can, see simulations of how it should be, and then, pretty much do your own customizations based off of that, pretty much copying through. But yeah, there's a lot of things that you know that would really help you within these journeys. Don't be afraid to ask for the help that you need. People, yes, they have their own things, but they are willing to help you, because I mean, back in the day, pretty much you had Google to only ask, but right now people are willing to share that knowledge and get you, all the help you can get. That's really it. I mean, don't forget, thank you, Mavis, for coming and sharing your experience with us.
Oh no,
You know,
thank you for helping me in my journey as well. You're
thank God.
really great help.
So next 2 weeks we'll have the product deep dive. We'll have Elijah coming and then share about IT asset management. You hear ITAM. He will come and really do justice to that. Um, but in a couple of minutes or at the most an hour, the video will come out. You can share. I would also put Mavis information in the chat, so you be able to connect with her. No, I know Adiola would definitely connect with you, maybe, so that
That's
way you
fine.
all can kick it off.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Do
you,
enjoy the
everyone.
rest of
Thank you. I already sent you a LinkedIn request.
good deal.
Oh,
Good
let me
deal.
Yeah.
check
Lovely.
now. Okay. I'll do
And I'll be
that.
disturbing you since you're my Canadian sister.
Are you in Canada? Are
Oh,
you here?
yes, I'm in Calgary.
Oh, you're in Calgary. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, no
Yeah, sorry,
problem.
we'll chat. Please still share our contacts and
No,
I'll
we'll
definitely
share.
disturb you.
For sure. I'll
No
share.
problem.
Yeah.
I'll share.
All right then.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have a good one
You
now.
too.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you
bye.
very much. Yeah. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.